Hi, this is Arcana Ignition, and I'm Wolf, and I'm gonna read some tarot tonight. So, my question tonight comes from my mom. Hi, Mom! And my mom has been on this journey of self discovery. And the last couple years, the form this journey has taken has been a lot of meditation. And she's been doing some really edgy forms of meditation. And right now, my mother is on a silent retreat in northern Vermont. And before she left, she sent me this question. And she has entrusted me with this question to take it to my Robin Wood tarot deck and see if we can give her some insights. So my mom's question is, what will help me overcome obstacles in my quest to breathe more easily? I love this question, and I love this question for tarot because it's both really broad and also super narrow and applicable in a practical way. And it's broad in that when we're trying to figure out how to breathe, what we're really doing is trying to figure out how to live. So the breath is a kind of unique in its physiology, in that it's both something that we regulate consciously and something that we regulate unconsciously, right? So we've got some bodily functions that happen without conscious control, like the heartbeat. So I don't have a ton of conscious control over how fast my heart is beating. And the same applies to things like how fast my kidneys are filtering water, and how in which directions neurons send messages through my nervous system, or my rate of digestion, right? These are things that just sort of seem to happen to me. And then there are the bodily functions and that we seem to control, right? Like how quickly and in what direction my hand is moving, or my shoulder shaking, right? A lot of skeletal muscle falls into this category. So the breath is this really interesting phenomenon where I both, if I don't think about it, it'll just happen however it happens, but I can also make decisions about it, right? I can take a deep breath. I can hold my breath. I can hyperventilate. So I am really excited to use this tarot deck to attempt to give my mom some insight into this question. So, these are the cards that I have pulled, and I am going to share them with you now. The first card I pulled is the Six of Cups. And in the Six of Cups, there's this really sweet, kind of pastoral, kind of nostalgic thing going on, where we have a small child giving a cup full of flowers to a smaller child. And the sensation that happens for me when I look at this card is this, "Aww, that's sweet." Six of Cups. And then the next card that I pulled is the Two of Pentacles. And Pentacles are about the material world, and Two is about choice. So this card is like kind of like humaning is hard card, or maybe it's hard, maybe it's just tricky, maybe it's just complicated, maybe there's like a lot of different things you can do with it. And in this deck, it's also kind of like ethereal in this beautiful, whimsical way. We've got the full moon, we've got the surreal boat ship air thing passing in front of the moon. So in addition to like being difficult and requiring concentration, being human is also this kind of like surreal, ethereal experience. And the last card which I pulled for this reading is the Six of Pentacles. Boom. And the Six of Pentacles has this protagonist who's clearly winning or on top of his game in terms of the whole capitalism situation, right? He's got his material shit on lockdown to the point where he is happily dispensing it to all of these have-nots who are represented by these hands reaching up. So he's in a position to help and he's happy to do it. Now I'm going to look at the cards and how they relate to each other and link them back to this question about obstacles in my mom's quest to breathe more easily. And the first thing I'm going to zero in on when I look at these cards together is that two of them are sixes. So the six, when we look at the minor arcana in a Kabbalistic context, it's where the animal realm rises up and the angelic realm descends down, and they meet at that point right in the very center of the tree of life, and that point is the human realm. So, what goes on in the human realm? Well, the human realm contains very clear and immediate access to divinity. And the six is about this kind of shining harmony space that happens when these realms mix. And it also implies the beauty of the system as a whole. And it's the sun, it's the center of that whole situation. And the six is the realm of the Bodhisattva. It's the realm of the sacrificed god, and it is the realm of the wounded healer. And what those archetypes all have in common is that they could float away into these more subtle states, but they're making the decision to stay here and stay on Earth for the purpose of helping those of us who are still stumbling around in the dark. And sixes carry with them this concept of generosity. Generosity also implies unequal relationships. And we see that in both these cards, this in like a kind of like sweet, innocent way, and this in a harsher and more grounded way. And so when I look at these cards and I think about them in terms of easy breath and in terms of obstacles to easy breath, I think about breath as giving and as receiving, right? We breathe in, we are receiving from the universe, and we exhale and we are giving to the universe. So how we inhale and exhale is about how we give and receive. And right now I'm looking at these cards and I'm imagining my mom's life journey. And I'm imagining her beginning in this place where giving and receiving are essentially the same thing. And there's no stakes in it. And it's easy and effortless. Right? Like, where did these flowers come from? These kids probably just had a whole bunch of fun like picking them, and there's plenty more where where they came from, and this is kind of play. It's solemn too. It's like serious play, but it's also play. So I'm seeing this as being kind of how kids breathe, and they don't put a lot of thought into it. They haven't really. They're not working to bring it under conscious control. They're not working to get something out of it. And the same is true for giving and receiving for kids. They're not looking to. They're playing with these concepts of gain and loss, and they're playing with these concepts of receiving and rejecting. So, simplicity in breath is where we've started. And then we begin to grow up, and we get a lot of messages and a lot of rules, and we begin to develop goals and places to go and ways that we want to be, and we get this decision about how we're going to show up in the world. And it's a balancing act. It all of a sudden, breathing brings with it the weight of how are you showing up in the world. But the cool thing about these cards in this position, right? This is how they showed up. Whoop. The rope is connecting the Six of Cups to the Six of Pentacles. And it's bridging them. So moving from Cups to Pentacles, we're moving from emotion to material being. And we're entering this space where breath is real. It's got weight to it. Like, it matters in the world. So what I'm seeing here, Mom, is I'm seeing this journey where something that was light and easy and fun took on all of the weight and import that's about how you show up in the world. And now it's like actually a real thing that you do. And breathing affects the world. This card also is kind of a cool card to pull for my mom in particular, because when I was a kid, something I remember really strongly is how I remember whenever we would see a panhandler, she would give money, and then she would also give some words of well wishes or a smile. And I remember her telling me that the money that she's giving isn't as important as her giving this person like a human connection, and that it's like way more important to treat panhandlers like fellow humans than it is to give them money. So you can see why this card makes me think of that. And so when I put it in this context of what's going to help her overcome obstacles in her quest to breathe more easily, I'm going to say that it's the human connection she has when she gives. And I'm talking about like giving the breath, like exhaling, letting go. When we exhale, we're giving this awesome gift of carbon dioxide to all the plants on this planet that are going to breathe it in. So I'm going to say to give that exhalation with that spirit that comes from this incredibly pure, easy place, with that spirit that is figuring out how to exist in this world, and with that spirit of recognizing yourself and humanity in others. So, I hope that helps you, Mom. I hope that helps you overcome obstacles in your quest to breathe more easily. And I hope that helps everybody who's watching understand a little more about tarot and a little bit more about my process, a little bit more about these cards, and maybe a little bit more about breathing. Thank you for watching.